Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the Burin Peninsula, and in particular to the town of Grand Bank. We spent last night just about 16 miles north of Grand Bank in Frenchman's Cove Provincial Park. And this morning we've driven down here to do this hike that we're currently on. I have to confess I can't remember the name of the hike, but if I find it again I will
Insert it.
put it up here somewhere.
Or down there.
Or down there, it could be anywhere. We are only at Frenchman's Cove Provincial Park for 3 nights. Last night was our first night, obviously here tonight, and then tomorrow there's a road that does a loop all the way around the bottom of the peninsula here. For us to do a circular loop is about 100 miles. So our plan tomorrow is to do a little drive around, take in the sights, and you'll probably see a bit of a montage of our day tomorrow. Good morning. Sorry, still eating breakfast. First stop, breakfast. And then I think after breakfast, well, good morning and welcome to our exploration of the Burin Peninsula. Our first stop is here. Freaking hell's bells. There is some video god that I do believe in. Good morning. Welcome to Fox Cove. We've come just south of Marystown this morning, and this is going to be the starting point of our journey around the Burin Peninsula. We've called into the Visitor Information Centre in Marystown and been given some brochures and leaflets about the things we can expect to see and do on our little loop. So here is the promised montage.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight all along. I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges get to keep. So long, farewell, bye-bye. Let's have a toast for those lost old eyes. And my crooked little heart that seems so rebellious is falling apart right now. I'm bleeding.
This just behind me is Chamber Cove. Chamber Cove is a few miles south of the small harbour town of St Lawrence, and this is one of the places recommended to us by the lady in the visitor information centre this morning, that she said on our way round the Burin loop we should definitely stop here to learn the story of what happened here some years ago. And there's a lot of information boards. And then just up on the top of the hill over there is a memorial, and the memorial is to a number of US Navy personnel. We were just reading that in 1942 this area used to suffer from U-boats attacking convoy ships, and there were 3 US Navy ships sailing around this Burin Peninsula to get to Argentia over on the other side of the water there, and they happened to be coming round here on a really rough, biting cold winter conditions, storm conditions. It was ferocious out there, and the story goes, or the timeline explains, that just around the corner of these rocks here is a place called Lawn Bay, and the first ship ran aground there. A minute later the second ship ran aground sort of halfway along this coastline, and the third ship ran aground just down here amongst these small rocks. They were all trying to get to shore and get out of the storm, and the story describes the oily waters, the biting cold, and men were trying to get from the boat to shore. Some did, and then they had to climb these cliffs covered in ice. And there's stories of a young guy chipping his way finger holds with his penknife to climb. They eventually got to the top, and the two I think there was 2 of them got to the top, and the younger one said he was fit enough and able enough to go on, and he followed this coastline down, and just down the bottom of the hill here is a old hay shack, and they took some rest in there, and then the young guy took off again to see if he could find any help nearby. But I mean, he didn't know. This area here is not inhabited, but fortunately for him, not too far back, I would say maybe just over a 20-minute walk, was a fluorospar mine. And he managed to get to the mine and alert the miners, and then from there the miners and then the town of St Lawrence all pulled together to come and try and do what they can to rescue the sailors. But the descriptions of bodies in the water, bits of bodies in the water, people who died trying to get to shore, people that died after they got to shore because of hypothermia, and then I think it says that over half of the personnel on board these 2 ships. The first ship, I should have mentioned, the first ship that ran aground round the corner in Law Bay, actually 3 hours later managed to refloat itself. It was these 2 here that nearby that just got pounded to bits by the waves. Mon ami, bonjour. Oh, hang on. Ah, mon ami, bonjour et bienvenue à Point May. The reason I'm using my well-versed French is that just over here, these 2 islands that you can see in the distance, hopefully you can, it's not the best of light, but they are actually French-owned islands. So to go there, excuse me, to go over there, you would need your passport from here. This is obviously, I guess, left over from the days where France and England spent a lot of time fighting over territory here in Newfoundland. But the French have kept those. Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Two, please.
2. Adults are 250, seniors are 2.
What do you have to be a senior? How old do you have to be?
65, you're not 65.
Oh.
So,
What about youth?
No.
Do I qualify for that?
that's 5, please. Perfect, thank you. Now you can help yourself, wander around. There's no specific order. Over in this section over here is our temporary exhibit. We have something different there every year.
Okay.
And then inside is the permanent exhibit. And there's upstairs, you can walk this way, or there's doors right in the back corner there. And washrooms are in through there. And we have a kids tie dyeing program on the go now. That's why there's a lot of kids around.
Oh, okay. I might join in with that.
You what? You going to?
I might do.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, thank you. So we've just finished in the Seamen's Museum, and there were some fantastic artifacts in there, very well presented, but my little disappointment I have is I was hoping it would give more of an insight into the life of being a fisherman, how the fishing developed here in Newfoundland and how the fishermen lived their lives, the hardships they had to endure. But it was more about really the types of boats and the equipment they had on those boats. Interesting, but I would like to have learnt a little bit more about the history of the actual fishermen themselves. Well, it's been a long but eventful day driving around the Burin Peninsula. Back at camp now and just starting to get packed up, as tomorrow morning we will be leaving here, and our next provincial park camping destination is Blow Me Down Provincial Park. Yes, another wonderful name. That's over on the west coast, and we will be there for 3 days, and then heading south to catch the ferry on the 15th of August. Good morning, and welcome to early August in Newfoundland, and now we know why they call this site Blow Me Down. Well, good morning. And it is a beautiful morning, I'm pleased to say. We've not had the best of weather for the last couple of days, and the weather from tomorrow lunchtime is said to rain continuously through till Friday. Tomorrow lunchtime is Wednesday, so
Couple of days.
we're at Blow Me Down Provincial Park, and we're currently taking a hike from the campground to Turtle Head. It's her mind. It's her mind, honestly. Just control yourself for a minute. We last spoke, or the last time we did any videoing, recording was over in the Burin Peninsula. And we've spent a couple of days travelling from there to here. And on one of those nights when the weather was particularly bad, we called in again at Nancy's Nest in Harry's Harbour. But it was nice because we got to say goodbye to Nancy and Dale. But from there, we're now headed west, and we're over on the west coast. And once we leave here, which will be on Friday morning, it's all south then, down to the ferry. Today is August the 8th, and we get the ferry on August the 15th, so we've got 1 week left. I'm sorry for moving around. I've got a fly that's irritating me on my legs. Here it is. Right. What's on my hand now? Oh. I don't think that'll be irritating me anymore. So yes, and then we're on the ferry, and then our journey around Nova Scotia will begin. And we hope that the weather is, because it's middle of August, we're hoping for more days like today. But in the meantime, we're going to carry on and then make the most of this weather. I'm not sure if the camera will show this very well, but right down there at the bottom is the beach, and the campground is just tucked around this corner in between this big mound and the mound we're on. It provides quite a nice wind funnel for the wind to funnel right through that gap there, but hopefully you'll be able to appreciate just how much we've got to go down in a very short distance. But fortunately, they've provided a lot of steps. It was definitely a lot easier coming down. So we're back at our campsite now, and this is where we were earlier, right up there on the very top.
Hello and welcome to Cape Ray Lighthouse, maybe our last Newfoundland lighthouse.
Well, once we'd left Low Down Provincial Park, it wasn't too big a journey to get down to Barrachois Provincial Park, but we stayed there for 2 nights and had rain pretty much the whole time that we were there. And so we left there this morning, and we've now come down to a provincial park down here called JT Cheeseman. We haven't yet checked in, but we will do very shortly. We've just stopped here to have a bit of breakfast by Cape Ray Lighthouse, and we're looking out to sea here and we're watching the ferry sail into the distance. The ferry is just left from over here, Porto Basque, just a few miles down the road. We have to be there at 9:45 in the morning to catch the 11:45 ferry, and we should get into Nova Scotia around 6 o'clock in the evening, and from there we're heading slightly north to look at Cape Breton. That'll be our first stop, the Ingonish campsite in the Cape Breton National Park, and that will be our first stop there in Nova Scotia. So what are you doing, Chrissy?
I'm in the queue,
For
boarding the ferry.
to
Nova Scotia.
leaving from?
Oh, Newfoundland.
Yes. So I'd expect when you get off the ferry you'll be exploring Nova Scotia.
No,
No?
no, change of plans.
Why is that?
Stirling's causing us problems again.
Yes. We have a very bad oil leak on the pinion seal on our rear differential, the one we had, the new differential at the rear that we fitted when we were in Quebec last year. It's leaking on quite badly. So we found a transmission company in Fredericton in New Brunswick, and we are sort of pretty much heading straight there once we leave.
Yeah. We didn't want to do too many miles driving around Nova Scotia.
So we've cancelled all of our bookings with Nova Scotia Provincial Parks and with Canada National Parks.
Yeah.
And once we can determine whether the oil leak is just because of a faulty seal or whether the seal is leaking because it's been another problem has caused it to leak, we don't quite know how long we'll be in New Brunswick. But once we get it sorted, and hopefully we will quite quickly, then we can make new plans from there.